Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Now, you can find all the links in the description box below or trainworld.com. And without further ado, enjoy today's video.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Train World TV. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining. And we have so many responses and comments in the chat already. It's amazing. We got people from Ireland here. Everybody's excited, very amped up, epic. Tons of people just really amped up for this show. They're looking forward to seeing Ryan. They're looking forward to seeing George and Tom's collections. And of course, none of this could be possible without Christian. Christian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ken. As always, it is wonderful to be on here for Thomas Tuesday. I'm enjoying the summer weather as we're still in the middle of it. And this is the first time that we have a Thomas Tuesday event with two guests showing their modeling work in the Thomas the Tank Engine fandom.
Well, now three guests, though.
Plus, Doug, of course, actually, sorry. I wasn't going for the same category there, Ken.
Doug, Christian's cutting you out. That's it.
It's all right. I have a very small collection to show tonight, so I give all the credit to George and Tom. It's all right by me.
People are going to be more excited for your collection than ours, though.
We're all happy to ship around. It's all good.
But yes, I am just super thrilled to see what is in store for tonight by George, by Tom, as well as the big reveal by Bachmann Trains. That is Ryan, the purple N2 tank engine. And yeah, Ken, I'll pass it right along back to you.
Yeah, put it in the chat if you're excited. We'll start it off with the hashtag Ryan Reveal and put in your state as well. And we are going to start this show with a big raffle because it's a big event. We got George, Tom, Doug, and Christian on. So we're going to start it off with a raffle. Christian actually just did a video of Mavis. It's not posted yet, but he just came back in the store and he dropped it off. This was actually opened and used by Christian. Christian, we're going to have you start signing these things before we raffle them off. But this was used by Christian on his video, and we'll be posting it shortly. But put in the chat, hashtag Ryan Reveal and the state you're from, and we'll pick out a winner. Christian usually picks out a winner in the next day or two. So if you don't hear from us right away, we always pick out a winner. So and they'll be notified, and we usually make an announcement about that. So definitely we see tons of people already, Jersey, Indiana, Georgia, Ryan Reveal. So we're getting a lot of feedback. It's a great prize, Mavis. Christian, why don't you tell people why you love Mavis?
Oh, why I love her? Oh, well, she's a fantastic character. One of my favorites as a kid and still today. One of the first characters I remember seeing way back in the day when I was a kid. He's a female Diesel. Can be quite feisty, especially in the earlier seasons. If you go back to season 3, but then you'll see in the later seasons, like season 6 and so on, she's matured a bit and almost like a little bit of a motherly figure at times. But she can still be feisty. But she's a phenomenal Bachmann model. Definitely one of my favorites too. So
very cool. Well, she may have some fighting words for you after that comment. But very good. And before we get to George and Tom, I was actually going to tell Christian and Doug before the show, but I didn't have a chance to. One of Christian actually sent us a quick video clip, and to have one of our team members, Tina, kind of put some music to as a reel on Instagram. And I think Doug's going to be pretty happy to find out that Christian's clip actually went viral. And Christian's clip actually has over 200,000 views in 1 week. So, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like this to date. It's been the most amount of views on Instagram for us ever. And this is of, Thomas Enscale James. And we're going to play it for you guys. So hang tight. And let's see here. Maybe we could get the sounds or not. Let's see. So not sure if you guys heard the sounds, if they came through on that or not, but very cute video. He rolls it down, his whole layout, and I just thought it was incredible, the amount of people who love Thomas the Tank, and this short little clip, how it went viral and sensational. Christian, you did a great job with that.
Thanks, Ken. No, granted, that was when I was filming the N-Scale James video there just a few weeks ago. And I figured, you know what, I need to take a little break. Maybe I'll see how the tender rolls down the hill there. And so I decided, hey, what the heck, I'll film it too. So I did that. I sent it your way. And I guess it just went into a viral thing. It was completely by accident. That's why it's so funny. So
yes.
200,000 views is amazing. That's tremendous, Christian. Good work.
So anyone out there watching this video, if you don't follow us on Instagram, our Instagram handle is Train World LLC. You can check out Christian's viral video, and he's doing a great job. So keep up the good work, Christian. I thought Doug would be happy to see that.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. So, Christian, I'll spin it over to you to introduce these two fellas. I'm not sure who you wanted to go first, but I'll kick it over to you to introduce them.
All right, Ken. So I'll actually introduce them both around the same time, since they're best friends, I believe, in the fandom, George and Tom, and both stunning Thomas modelers. George is more of a television series modeler, whereas Tom, I believe, is more of a railway series modeler, as you'll see later when they showcase their models. But throughout Instagram and primarily Twitter, they have consistently just wowed the entire fan base by their creativity and their craftsmanship in model railroading. And in addition to that, they are the founders of this group called Thomas and His Fans. And there's a bunch of Thomas fans involved, primarily model railroaders, and they all constantly put together these events in various venues and locations where just all Thomas fans can get together and really appreciate the hobby and just Thomas as a whole. And yeah, I'm super stoked to see what both have specifically. And yeah, I will pass it right along to them. But maybe I can't choose who's going to go first. Maybe you guys, guys, I'm choosing a number between 1 and 10. George, what's my number?
Let me say 7.
Thomas, what's my number?
8.
All right. Yeah, George, you got closer. It was 6.
Oh, man.
All right. So George, we'll hand it over to you. And yeah, we look forward to seeing what you have for tonight.
Thank you. Hello. So as Christian said, we're part of this group, Thomas and His Fans, and it really goes back to about a year ago. I met Tom at just like a Thomas fan meetup, and it was funny. I had this figure of Sir Topham Hatt, the Fat Controller, that our friend Jacob made, and I had it on the table, and he was there for like a half hour, and he's like, "Whose is this?" So I come back and I'm like, "Oh yeah, like this is like this is my figure and stuff." And we were talking about that, and we got to talk to Jacob for a little bit, and it's just funny. We kind of like we met there that day, and then I think it was maybe a week later. I had some like troublesome truck faces I was trying to get rid of, and he was like, "Hey, I'm interested in these." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm in Jersey," and he was like, "Oh, okay, so am I." And we met up and we hung out and we we like ran a bunch of our engines in my kind of like makeshift layout in my basement, and it was just really fun. And then from there, every day we talk pretty much. Like Christian said, we're kind of pretty much best friends. But it all really started with this guy. And in November we had this big show in Edison, New Jersey, and since then it's just been more and more fun, really. This weekend we're going to be having another show there, the Greenberg Train Show, and mostly a lot of Thomas displays, and we're going to have a couple layouts, things like that. For the fans, we have like a community table, so pretty much you can put your models on there, things like that. You can take pictures, but it's a very cool thing. So time to get into the fun stuff now, all the models. So I'm going to start off with these. These are from the large scale range by Bachmann, and our friend Isaiah, he goes by One Tram Band on YouTube, and he makes these faces from Thomas Toys. Basically, he'll take a cast of it and expand it to fit the G scale models. And this is one of Thomas. This is the season 2 expression. And then I've got Percy, and this is like a kind of like just like a closed smile face. And this is season 1 and 2. Usually that's kind of like my sort of favorite era of the show, the first couple seasons. Here's James, and I have a couple different expressions for them, and they're actually in this one truck right here. And this is just everything here is from the Bachmann range, just repainted, modified. This has another face that's been expanded onto the model, and then they're in these. I had these jewelry boxes lying around, and the faces fit perfectly in there. So they're all stored in there. I've got a couple different expressions for most of the characters, most of them for Thomas, being the main character and all. But I love these, and you can reach them out on there. For usually faces he'll put out every couple months or so. He's usually pretty busy, but they're well worth it. I love them. There's a couple more before I get into that. This one's a box fan, and this one's got the kind of a giggling face. This one's just modded here, spray painted, and then kind of dry brush for a weathering look. Some weathering powder on the top, things like that. I love the rolling stock, probably more than the engines, but going to be focusing on the engines today since that's what everyone kind of wants to see. This one's a fun one. This is the one of the troublesome trucks from season 1 when they had the kind of stickered faces, and this one also has some boxes with Thomas faces in here. But a couple months ago, I got pretty big into the range, and Bachmann has released the solar fuel tanker, but it didn't have the lettering. So I kind of took it in my own hands to create this because I wanted to own this in some way, shape, or form. So I have a vinyl cutter. It's called a Cricut, and you can usually find them at most craft stores, things like that. And I designed this template from just an old toy. I believe it was a Tomy fuel tanker, or it might have been a wooden one. I'm not completely sure. But basically, found the font and then kind of got rid of the background, everything. And then I used I believe it was acetone to remove the logo. And I think it was like a jerry can there. and then kind of repainted over that, and then weathered it, and then relettered it. But this is one of my favorite pieces. In addition to that, I've got the Tidmouth milk tanker, and this was another one that Bachmann released. But instead, I believe it's just a picture of a cow, but I wanted the classic series lettering. So I was able to create that, and pretty much the same sort of thing, just repainted this, weathered it, and yeah, it's one of my favorites. So that's the large scale range. But now on to more of the HO models. So this one here. It's funny, my Twitter username BoldOut95. That's an episode from season 4 of Thomas, and 1995 was the year it came out. So I was just getting started. It's just kind of very simple username. But I've always loved this character of Class 40, also known as the Diesel. And this is a model. It's a very old model. By, I believe it's Lima. They're a UK manufacturer, and I want to say this is from the 70s or 80s. So it's very old. I just basically stripped it down, all the kind of extra details that you'd find on the real life engine, because the Thomas engines are very simple, especially in the television series. So I stripped it down and then repainted it. These are, I believe, Tamiya paints. Yeah, everything here is on this one is Tamiya. Just like one of the main brands for model paints and stuff. But they're very like reliable paints. I use them for most things, as well as the weathering powder. So this is just repainted like a dark green, and then with my vinyl cutter I was able to do the strip right here, as well as the numbers, and then kind of masked off both ends for the yellow. And then the buffer beams here, these are just 3D printed buffers, and they're expanded to fit into the spots here for the usual oval Class 40 buffers, but on the television show they're circular. So same as the front, this was constructed out of a piece of styrene, and then the face. This is by Rexecutions on Twitter, and they make the faces. Like most of the engines here, the faces come from them, and they do some awesome work. I can't recommend them enough, especially if you want custom faces for your engines, because usually the Bachmann engines come with, like just one face, and sometimes people like to modify that, and that kind of segues into the next one. This one is this one's of course the main character, Thomas, and this is my season 1 inspired Thomas, but I can't take credit completely for this model. This was made by I believe it's Dynamis 3000 on Twitter and Instagram. And about a year ago, he had commissions open, and I said, "Hey, I'd love a television series, Thomas, like first couple seasons." And it took a little while, but I can't be happier with this. The body and footplate are 3D printed. This is by the LBSC Thomas, also known as Noah, on Twitter and Instagram, and they do some absolutely amazing things. I can't suggest them enough. But the wheels here, well, this is just show real quick in comparison to the stock standard Bachmann. Pretty big difference. The color you can see is kind of off. This is a darker blue, which is kind of what I want it. And then the standard Thomas this is a lighter. The face, big difference there. This Thomas I have a bunch of different expressions for. Usually, take different pictures, things like that. You can pose them for videos and such. So that's the season 1 smile. This is, I believe, season 3. I've got a whole box of them right here. This one's actually in a Bachmann Percy N scale case. So it's a perfect fit for that. But I love this guy. He comes to all the shows, and all the lining and the number, that's all vinyl cut. And it's very simple, pretty much. I'll just, like I said, I'll get a design from somewhere, trace it over, and then pretty much, clear out the backgrounds, and then just apply it usually with a kind of masking tape or something. But I plan to complete the season 1 fleet at some point. I'm about halfway through right now. So there's a bunch that are still work in progress, but slowly getting there. And this one you can tell is the season 1 in specific because of the larger brake pipe at the front. And there's a chip on one of the tanks right here. It's just a little bit of paint. But in the very first episode, you can see there's a chip on one of the tanks. I was like, I want that for mine. So I kind of replicated that. Same thing with the back, the bunker. The first 2 seasons, there's this lining. And that's just replicated here. The coal, that's just fake coal kind of glued in. The roof comes off. And the only Bachmann components this uses are the wheels and the motor. The motor's from a Bachmann Thomas, but the wheels are Donald and Douglas. Because in comparison to the standard release wheels, just kind of show right here, there's a difference of the spokes, and these are more accurate to the Marklin engines that they would use for the show. So that was just pretty easy swap there. But that's, I would say, probably my favorite model. Next is Toby. He only uses the Bachmann Toby chassis, and this is just like a big block inside. The wheels are painted red, albeit not the best, but the original Toby model had red wheels underneath, so I figured why not. Sorry, 1 second. He's just a little bit fiddly to get together because the body's not screwed in with anything. But the body here was made by Elsbridge Productions, who I believe is also on Twitter and Instagram. Again, you can find them on there. They do some awesome stuff. They do like buildings and rolling stock, things like that. But they put out this Toby shell, and I was like, this is, I have to have this because it's, if you notice, it's open on the cab. And that's something that I kind of wanted to change with the Bachmann model, but I didn't want to really mess it up. So I figured, let me get a new shell. Pretty much everything here is hand painted, besides the cow catcher. That's just spray painted, masked off. And then all the wood grain and everything, that was all hand painted. The lights here, these are actually molded into the shell. I'm not sure how well you can see, but these are just kind of craft gems stuck on to simulate the lights. For the bell, there's like a little string here. This is just vinyl, cut vinyl. And the face, that's also done by Rexecutions. And it's very accurate to the model series Toby. And he has a whole bunch of expressions out there. So yeah, Toby's got around 6 or so. I want to say Thomas has probably close to 25, something like that.
And just to interrupt you just for a second. Just to interrupt you.
Sorry?
Just to interrupt you just for a second, George. How do you apply the different facial expressions since you have?
Oh yeah, let me show you real quick. So Thomas, it's very simple. This is just held in with sticky tack. And sorry, there's the camera. It's held in with sticky tack, and the eyes are BB gun pellets. They're like a solid white. And I usually get this question a lot because it's a feature that would be awesome on like an official product, but I don't know why they haven't really done it. In some rare cases, but this is actually stuck on a plate here. This is a 3D printed plate that fits into the face, and you could just pop the new face on. You could reposition the eyes, and there you go. And it fits in snug here. And most of these models, pretty much all of them have the option to change the faces, have different expressions. So right there, very, very simple. Next this is Birdie the Bus. He was made with a Bondi. It's an old toy from the 90s, Bondi Tex, or in America, it was the Gold Rail series. Just repainted into a glossy red, and he's got this little line here. And the windows, these, funny enough, are Bachmann. This is from the packaging. A lot of times I'll keep the packaging of the engines and just use it for window glazing. And it ended up working perfectly because there's a couple curves. So I was able to do the back and a couple of windows. And the face is repainted. He's got a little driver inside. But yeah, Birdie's one of my favorite characters. And I love, that model. Next is pretty simple one. This is Diesel. And he pretty much is the Bachmann Diesel with the cab cut out. And you can see there's the window glazing. You can see a little bit of the wires and stuff inside, but I don't really mind. On the shows, kind of the same thing. And he's repainted into a matte black with some just very subtle weathering. The chassis underside has been painted with acrylics, and then it's got a screw-link coupler on the front, just to get a little bit closer to the television series. And the face on him was made by the _Chairlord on Twitter, and they also do a whole bunch of expressions for engines. You can kind of reach out to them for that sort of stuff. But this one, I love this expression. That's probably like, when I think of Diesel, I think of this. And Diesel in my original collection as a kid, he was like the one I had that still worked. So I was able, this is my childhood Diesel, just repainted and everything from 10 years ago. So I'm very glad to have him. Next is kind of keeping that theme of the Class 08s, is Paxton. And Paxton, I really didn't know too much about. I'm not that big on the new series. I kind of like the older stuff more. But our friend Kyle, he used to go by Big Engines 87. He made a whole bunch of expressions for Paxton. And I have them right here. These are in a, again, I use just jewelry boxes for stuff just because they, kind of keep everything nice and have the padding. But he did a whole bunch of faces for Paxton here. And I've got the whole set of 10. And about a year ago, Steven at Soto Railway Modeler, I believe you had him on here. He showed the Paxton. Yeah, then with the, the updated faces and stuff, I remember seeing that and I was like, that's awesome. I got to try that. So this is, very inspired by him, heavily weathered. All done with acrylics on this one. There's no powder or anything. And this is just kind of the default face I choose from. Same with Diesel. The kind of cab glazing is done with just scrap plastic. And this one was really fun to do. And it's pretty recent. I believe I completed him about April or so. So yeah,
Nice.
he's definitely one of the more recent.
How did you? I love the weathering job. Sorry, I love the.
Thank
weathering
you, yeah.
job on Paxton. How did you apply the weathering?
This was just done with some very small brushes, very light strokes. And that's the other thing with weathering. I tend to water down the paint a lot, just to get like a kind of good wash. But you can see he's really filthy here. All sorts of grease and oil and stuff. And then the cab here, I think on the original Bachmann, this cab is green. So I just the rest, like this area here is black, and I was like, why not? So I kind of repainted that, and then the front. This is actually held on by a plate here. This is also designed by I believe this was done by Kyle as well. But this fits right into the Bachmann Paxton. And there's just a little bit of sticky tack there, and then the eyes kind of clip on. And then he's good to go. But this was more of a season 5 style, sort of like a what if. Like most of his faces are, so I figured he'd be a little bit different. But yeah, Paxton, this one's become one of my favorites. And then next is Salty, kind of keeping up with the theme of the diesels and weathering. Salty was just re-released too in the range, as I'm sure a lot of you guys saw. But I remember last year he was hard to get, and I found one, and I was able to. I remember I weathered it very lightly, and I had it for a couple months. I wasn't satisfied, so I went back, and this was done very similar methods to Paxton, but mostly powders, and I used a panel accent lining for a lot of the grills and things like that, the foot plate, and then the face is just repainted. That's just the standard Bachmann. And a lot of people complain about the gaps in the couplers, but if I'm going to be using him, I use most of the these hook and loop couplers for rolling stock and stuff, so it doesn't really make that big of a deal to me. If I wanted something a little bit more accurate, I'd probably do that. But this one was very fun. And there's lots of rust and kind of soot and things you can kind of see on him. But yeah, this one is very fun. Salty is one of those where, I get questions from people saying, oh, I want to try this. I want to weather stuff. Salty or diesel all the way. Because you can you can't really mess up with them. Same goes with Paxton, really. Even Mavis, any of the diesels. Definitely recommend, if you want to start somewhere, because they're not really too hard. And like I said, there's really like no wrong way to do it. This next one here, this is a Railway Series character. This is 16, and this is actually a Hornby model, and it's one of the few here that isn't Bachmann. So I pretty much got the J94 basis, and then sanded down a couple of the like extra details and things. I believe there's like handrails here, just kind of snipped those off for more of a television series look. And then all the lining, that's all custom cut yellow lining, and it extends above the tanks and things like that. And the face, this is done by Thomas Modeler. I believe it's Thomas Modeler 1 on Twitter. But he designed a whole face pack of these, and this one's my favorite because the old Ertl toy had this expression. And I remember he was one I never got, and I was like always very intrigued by him. But all the kind of weathering here is all done with acrylics as well. The numbers custom cut. And one day I'd love to have Wilbert to go alongside him because they're the same basis, and then I don't know. There's a whole theory that they're the same character, but I love this guy. There's hazard stripes on the front. He's pretty cool. Again, also a pretty recent one. I want to say he was April. And then next, this kind of goes into the narrow gauge stuff. And ending on that note, this is a work in progress so far. This is Scarloey. And this one's going to be more of a kind of railway series off the books. It's a darker red, and there's a couple gold accents. And he's one that I started, and I've come back to a couple times. So I'm not really sure when he'll be done. But the face is also done by Rexecutions. Like I said, they do amazing stuff. You can check them out on Twitter. And yeah, I really love this kind of red. Because usually when I go search for paints, you find different colors. You think, oh, I can use this and that. And I remember seeing this. I was like, I'd love to do Scarloey in that color. So yeah, I'm not sure when he will be done. I just dropped them. Oops. But in addition to him, I had to get the coaches too. So I've got about 3 of these. This is one of the Tallulah red coaches, and these are awesome. Honestly, some of the best pieces of merchandise made to this day. Especially if you do narrow gauge, these people buy these in bulk. Just they look so good behind an engine. So that's Scarloey, and these are a little bit different. Still kind of keeping with the theme of narrow gauge. These are more of the TV series models. So this is Duncan. And this is actually made, believe it or not, from a Bachmann N-scale Percy on the chassis. And that N-scale Percy chassis is so versatile. I see people use it for customs all the time. But the face, that's also done by Rexecutions here. And the body is made by tdoc_41 on Twitter. And he does some incredible stuff. He'll get the measurements of the props on the show and basically kind of scale them up or down. Like you can make replicas with the measurements and blueprints and stuff he has. People have made them out of brass. It's really awesome. But I wanted to do Duncan, and I just picked up an N-scale Percy and was like, why not? So this is pretty much unmodified here. The cylinders are a little bit different on the television model, but it didn't really bother me. The wheels are repainted. Obviously, they'd be green otherwise. And then the shell is repainted into this kind of, I believe it's called a camel yellow by Tamiya. And all the lettering, like the Duncan nameplate, is actually from the Ertl toy. And I just took that off there and kind of glued it onto this. The number is custom cut vinyl, but it's really small. I'd like to update him with proper decals at some point. The lining here also really tiny, but somehow I was able to custom cut that. And then the weathering, that's all done with powders. and acrylic paint. But that's Duncan. Next is Rheneas, and this uses the bottom half of the Bachmann Rheneas. And I didn't really have to repaint any of the cylinders or anything here. So this is pretty much unchanged. The only part being the lining on the cylinders. I just had to get it a little bit thicker, and that's really the only mod to that. Again, Rheneas, the standard Bachmann Rheneas is probably one of the best products you can get. Same with Scarlowi. The narrow gauge stuff is awesome. Like, but I don't know. I just always wanted the season 4 models, to kind of interact with the HO scale stuff. So like, there we go. There's Thomas and Rheneas. So one day I'll probably make a layout like a Crovin's Gate sort of thing with this, with all of them. But the face, that's also done by Rex, and the nameplate here, it's also from the Ertl toy, just cut off and glued onto this. And then the lining is custom cut here. It's 2 layers. There's like a kind of thicker black layer underneath, and then there's gold above that to achieve that same sort of look as in the show. The cab is blacked out, as it would be on the small scale models. And the weathering, that's all done with powders here. And I believe same sort of method they would have done, just shrunk down. The face I'm not completely satisfied. I might go back and repaint at some point. But he's like definitely one of my favorites I've worked on. Because I remember I started him probably a year ago, probably August of last year. And then I got the shell, and it was like the wrong size. I had to cut up the chassis. I got a new one, and just this whole process. But finally, I believe he was another March or April. He was complete, but I'm very satisfied with him now. And then the next one, this was the first model I ever made, is Rusty, and this is also using a T-Doc shell, and all the weathering here is done with acrylics, or not acrylics, powders. And this is just kind of like a brown and black. And then I gave him a dark brown wash on some areas, kind of like by the grill and all that, just to kind of get that working feel. And the face, that's also done by Rex, of the season 4 Rusty. But this is probably my favorite model in my collection, and it holds a lot of kind of sentimental value to me, because I remember I was like, I don't know what I want to do next, and I'd never really done any of the narrow gauge, but he was a pretty good, pretty easy model to make. This chassis here, this is a Kato end scale. This is a tram chassis, and it's just weathered on each of the sides very lightly, and this was very cheap. I want to say it was probably around $30. Shell not being too much, same with the face, and the paint, all that, the lettering, and some of the lining here, also done custom cut, like the window. I just found the diameter and all that, and was able to put on the model. But I love this model so much, and it really started it all, because in the past I'd really gotten some of the Bachmann models and like updated some of the parts and faces and things like that, but that was really the first thing that got me into completely full on modifying them. So yeah, that just about wraps it up here.
Awesome.
So
Thank you so much, George. Thank you so much for sharing all your models.
Very neat.
Such inspiring, terrific job. And from the weathering to the faces, just to all the modifications in general, it's just really, really inspiring. And I'm sure everyone here in the chat and even watching right now, it's just everyone definitely learned something.
Thank you very much.
This.
Yeah,
But
give it up for George in the chat. Give him a shout out.
Awesome job, George.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Tom, you're on deck.
Oh boy. Is my I know my video is a little choppy. Is my audio good? You guys hear me fine?
I can hear you.
Okay. Excellent. Well, yeah. So George kind of told the whole story about me and him meeting, so I'll just hop right into my trains here. And I'll kind of pick up where he left off on the narrow gauge stuff with you guys may know this product. I and yeah, it was kind of a funny story with this one. I remember I pre-ordered it a while ago and was like, it almost just like slipped my mind. Let me adjust my camera. It almost like slipped my mind that I even pre-ordered one. And then one day I get an email. It's like your order's been shipped, and I'm like, what could this be? And the next day, box from Train World right at my doorstep. It was this little guy. But this is an excellent model. This is from Bachmann. It's one of my favorites in the narrow gauge range. He's such a good runner because I really like that his back wheel is like rigid too, and it helps power him because like it's such a small wheelbase. You know, these things can cut out pretty often on like points and stuff. Not really sure if I want to do like what I'm going to do with them yet. I definitely want to modify him somehow, just because it doesn't like fit the style of my modeling. So far, all I've done, you can see he has silver buffers, and it's kind of hard to see. The lighting is weird right here. I'm like, my window is right here, so the shadows are going to be kind of an issue. But I did the top of his funnel gold, just like a little more fancy. Adds a little bit of color, makes it pop a little bit more. Yeah, I definitely want to do something with Peter Sam. I'm just not sure yet. And then kind of piggybacking off of George here, I also have my models of Skarloey, Rheneas, and Rusty. And just go over them really quickly. Skarloey here. This is the fully stock Bachmann Skarloey. Just I completely repainted it. Kind of a more of like the Railway series, TV series thought, or not TV series, like real life almost, with the like Tallyland, his real life basis. Recently, actually, I painted the wheels red and white too. Just another kind of pop of color. I really like that edition. Same story with the faces. All my faces are done by the same guy, as George was saying. Rexecutions. He's a wonder child. I think he's only like 16 or something, and he's just doing incredible stuff. But yeah, repainted the body red. Added some blue lining. It's kind of hard to see. These are decals, like water slide decals. You cut them off the sheet, and then you dip them in water. Painted the side rods red with enamel paint because acrylic paint won't really stick to the metal. Same story with Rheneas. This is pretty much the stock Bachmann model. I did change a little bit about it. There's a kit out there that kind of gives it more traits of the real life model of Rheneas, the Dolgok on the Tallyland Railway. So his funnel is a little thicker. The cab is a little more accurate. It's got like this part right here. It kind of protrudes out. That's on the real life one. Face, same story as all the other ones. And then this is my version of Rusty. If you'll have read the Railway series, you'd know that Rusty is black actually, or dark gray. I painted mine black. Same kind of decals for the name and the number. And this shell, I forget the name of the person who made it. You can find it online, but it's on the Bachmann Rusty chassis. It just fits perfectly on it. With a couple, I had to cut some things off, some supports, but overall it was pretty easy to do. It fits very nicely on there. I think it looks very nice. It looks just like Midlander, which is the real life version of Rusty. Same kind of story with the face. And then I have some like custom narrow gauge engines that I'm not sure if they will be done in Bachmann. Well, I know definitely one of them won't be. But I think people would like to see them. This is Ivo Hugh. Kind of a pretty obscure character in the overall Thomas like franchise. This character is based off the real life Tom Rolt on the Tallyland Railway. And our friend Kyle, George was talking about earlier with the Paxton faces, he made a. Oh, it's super blurry. I'm sorry. Can I? Nah, it's not gonna focus. He made me a pack of faces. Like I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can you make faces for my Ivo Hue model?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "How do you want me to pay you?" And he was like, "I don't know." Like he couldn't figure out how PayPal works or whatever. So he just made them for me, and it was super nice of him. Um, this is actually the Bachmann Percy chassis too, like George was saying earlier. Super versatile. Um, I added a pony truck. It came with the 3D print because the body is a 3D print. Um, and then painted it the same color as all the other narrow gauge engines. Did the nameplate, did the name with the decals, the lining. This is one of my favorites. I know a lot of people like this is like out of everything I've made, this is also one of their favorites. He's such an obscure character. Nobody really makes models of him, so it's fun to have characters like that. Because I remember when I was a kid, there was the wooden railway toy of Ivo Hue, and he came with like a car that had a hippo in it for some reason, and it's such a funny like piece of merch that I'm like, oh, I gotta make him. Once when I saw it on when I saw like the shell online. And then this is another one. Maybe more likely Bachmann will make it since it is a more recent character. Pretty popular. This is Luke. He is so small. Like even comparing him to the Skarloey, it's like it's crazy how small he is. Here's another completely custom job. I bought it off my friend Trainboy actually. I bought the original shell off of him, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it kind of my own style. Rexecutions made this face for me. I was like, I want to do Luke, but I don't really like the CGI face. I'd like to do something more classic. It's got a little guy in the cab. And yeah, same story as all the others. Painted them the acrylic. All my models are done with acrylic, except for like two of them that I'm going to be showing today. And yeah, he's just this one was so fun to do. He's so small, and he was kind of difficult to get working actually because he's just so small. It's like hard for him to even have enough weight to power himself. But I eventually got it figured out. Added some weight inside the boiler, and yeah, that's pretty much the narrow gauge guys. And I do have one more narrow gauge friend, but a different gauge. This is Rex from the Arsdale Railway. If you've ever seen, he was actually in the later seasons of the show as well as the books. This is a Z gauge engine. I'm not sure if might be the first to have Z gauge on the Thomas Tuesday stream. This is another one I know people think is really interesting. And it's completely custom. I found like the chassis in a train shop for like $100, and I'm like, I might as well get it. This will be super fun to do. And like nobody really does the Arsdale engines except for like one other person, and they're so small compared to like just like the same Thomas George has. I got one too at the same time. Like crazy, the size difference. It was this like I don't know. The small projects are almost more fun to do because you can just like pop them out kind of quickly and like have them ready to show off. So I'll go into the HO gauge stuff now. Here we have some of my favorites. These are Bill and Ben. These are the standard Bachmann models, just completely redone. Had some help with my friend Lewis. He's half of Thomas Tank Merch on Twitter, who you guys may know because they own Edward. Like they own that character right there. He owns him. Like he owns that model. It's crazy. So these are, like I said, these are the Bachmann Bill and Ben. With the cabs cut out and all the windows, because on the regular Bill and Ben, like you could see the motors right there, so it would look kind of ugly if you sold that as like a regular product. But I don't really mind it. And then we sanded down the handrails and installed new ones that are separately fitted. Added faces to them, and then I completely repainted them with Tamiya spray paints and these custom decals. This is like the first model. These are the first models I ever did using spray paint, and I don't think I'm gonna go back. I definitely prefer hand painting my models. You get a lot more control, I feel. Is there some areas on Ben especially where I think the paint came out a little thick and I wasn't as happy with them. But overall, like I just think I know a lot of people like these ones too. The nameplates are 3D printed by our friend Jordan. I think his Twitter is at Jordan does Sodor now. He changed it recently. But yeah, and like some of the decals are so small. Like I added the Brendan Bay lettering right above their face. That's like 2 millimeters, and there's like a 1 millimeter size number above their heads. Yeah, I was super happy with how these came out. I do want to redo them though, because the Bill and Ben in real life, like their real life bases, they are so small compared to like the models on Thomas. They had to be scaled up to be like double the size so they could fit all the mechanisms in them, the smoke and the eyes and stuff. But now it's like becoming possible for people to make the like more accurate sized ones with 3D printing. So I do want to look into that and get those done. Um, Real quick here, George told the story about it, but this is like the exact same Thomas George has. I messaged the guy about it, and then George, like I told George, and the next day he was like, I think I'm gonna get one too.
Yeah.
So same story. It's you could like the 3D print. This is the Thomas chassis, the Bachmann Thomas chassis with the Donald Douglas wheels. Same face with the faceplate and stuff. And then it's coming out really slowly. The sticky tack is very thick on this. You can actually see I painted the inside of, you can't really see because of the shadow, but I painted the inside of the funnel white. Because if you notice when you watch season 1, if you've been watching it in the background, the inside of the funnels are white for some reason. And then the next season they're painted blue or black like they should be. And it's like, it's never explained. I don't think there's a really reason for that as far as I know. People say it's like the smoke fluid, but they use the same smoke fluid the entire show. So I don't know. It's just a quirky little thing that like I remember as a kid. There's like in the first episode, there's a top-down shot of Thomas on like a turntable spinning around, and it's like you could see the inside of his white, and it's really weird. Next we have these are more like a lot of my modeling stuff is like my own kind of like personal interpretation of like the lore of the show, and it's not like or the books, and it's not really like very standard stuff. So first here we have Thomas. This is my model of Thomas. It's based off of the first ever drawings of Thomas that like the Reverend Audrey made for his son when he was sick in bed with measles. That's when that's kind of how Thomas all started. There's like stories that a father was telling his son. And so this is a Hornby J50 is the original basis. It's like the only kind of tank engine where it's got like the tanks all the way up to the smoke box and like sloped down so you could see out of the cab window. Fun fact. But yeah, this is something I've always wanted to do since I began modeling. I just thought it'd be very fun, and I don't really see anyone do that. He's got the British Rails crest on the side, and then the number 1 on the tank. The BR crest is kind of more of the headcanon, like personal interpretation thing. And then the face, by executions, like we were saying earlier. This is just, I've always wanted to do this, and getting this J50 was such a nightmare. This is like the third one I tried to buy. Like, I bought 2 of them before, and like they never showed up, and I was driven up a wall trying to get this, but I'm very glad I did. This is the most recent model I've made, and I'm very happy with how it came out. I think it's the paint works pretty nice on it. I kind of rushed it because I was frustrated. So there's some things that are imperfect on it, like the lining on the side. I think I could have done better, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Here we have some Bachmann UK models actually. This is Donald, and let me grab his twin, Douglas. Now recently, Bachmann UK did there's an exclusive. They did the real life basis of these. This is like the first time they've ever been made a model form, and they sold like crazy. I was like, I have to get two, like, because there were so many Thomas fans who are like, I gotta get two. I gotta get Donald Douglas. You can't just have one. And they're some of the best models I've ever seen. Bachmann UK did an incredible. There's the camera. They did an incredible job with these. The firebox lights up and it's so bright. They can pull so much. Like George was over my house when I first got them, and I hooked up like literally every single piece of rolling stock I had. And I'm like, and they just pulled them, no problem. I was like, wow. Yeah. And the nameplates are these are etched in brass actually. There's websites where you can get custom brass etched nameplates. I ordered some of those. They take forever. It's a nightmare trying to get them, but when they eventually do come, it's nice. But yeah, these are some of my favorites as well. Came out very nice. I would think I would eventually like to go back and do them in black because that's kind of more iconic for the twins. But yeah, I love these guys. I love Donald Douglas in the show. They're so funny. Their episode, The Deputation, and the book is like one of the best in the entire show. It's hilarious. They're all idiots, all the characters. And they play off each other so well. Next here we have this is weird. This is James in blue. Some people might be scared. Everybody knows he's red, but you know, you only live once. You might as well have fun. So this is my blue James. This is the body shell is completely designed and 3D printed by our friend Jordan, who I talked about earlier with the nameplates on Bill and Ben. And he did such an incredible job on this. It's based off of an Irish engine in real life. It's I forget the class. It's gonna kill me. Yeah, I'm gonna be up laying in bed tonight and I'll think of it and I'll be mad at myself. But if you want to look it up, you could look up Irish Mogul because this wheel arrangement, the 260, is called the Mogul. And the face was 3D printed by him as well. It was designed by Rex. And this was such a process. I wanted to see it through so bad, and eventually seeing it done, it just was like, it was just like final, something. And it's super unique to me. I believe the file isn't released yet, so I believe I'm the only person who's like used this shell. I have another one that I'm painting in a different color. It's also not red. Don't get your hopes up. But yeah, this was like, I love Irish steam engines too. I recently was in Ireland. I went in April and like it was just so surreal. That's the best place in the world. So yeah, having kind of like something super unique to me and like a little piece of it is very like it's super cool. And actually, speaking of Irish engines, Bachmann, if Mr. Doug, you made a while ago, there was a Bachmann like Irish train set in HO scale. If you're looking to bring that back, like
there was
that would be cool.
Duly noted. No promises there, but duly noted.
Thank you. Message me if you find one in the warehouse. Message me.
Okay.
I'll give you my phone number.
Sounds good.
Two more real quick here. These are not Bachmann engines. These are by different UK manufacturers. This is Edward. I was wondering if my TV was still on. This is Edward. This was one of the like, I think this and the next one I'm going to show are like kind of ones that really like a lot of people kind of were drawn to that I've made, and I'm glad because they're two of my favorites. This is a DAPL. It's called the D class. It was an exclusive. Oh shit. Oh. Sorry. This was an exclusive.
That was a close one, Tom.
Yeah, I almost took the stream down. This was in a UK exclusive. This was another like excellent runner. Then like the firebox lights up and it's super nice. And George should remember this one because I was like, this was the newest thing I'd made when I came over his house
Oh,
for the
man.
first time. Like the first person to ever see it. There's a funny picture. Like I didn't have the face for it yet. This is also done by our friend Rex. So there's a picture of him with like the Bachmann size face, and it's like this big on him. It's huge. It's so funny. Yeah, this is an excellent model, and like I think a lot of people will think of like this when they think of like my modeling and stuff. This is like one of the first that come to mind, along with this next one. Kind of you can't have one without the other. This is my model of Gordon. He's got his angry face on. This was graciously given to me by my good buddy George here. And then I've got two other faces. I have his like sleeping face, and kind of like a happy one. Is gotta have the happy face. I can't hold it for some reason. But yeah, those are all 3D prints, and then the engine itself. This is a Hornby A1. It was based off of Great Northern, which is the first kind of Gordon's class in real life. Here he is with his tender. Nameplate was also designed and printed by our friend Jordan. And yeah, I was kind of working on Gordon and Edward at the same time, like one right after the other. My friend Lewis, I was like on the hunt for this model, the original model, because it's very hard to find. Hornby doesn't produce it anymore, and they don't really produce any alternatives. So I'm like, I'm looking, and like people are overselling it online. Just eventually, my friend Lewis is like, "I'll sell you for $100." I'm like, "Deal." So had to get him. And yeah, the Gordon and Edward are like two of my favorites I've done, and they go so well together. And like I feel like they kind of helped me get to where I am today and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of it for my little presentation. Those are all my silly little trains. I think we can get to the reason why we're all really here right now.
Yeah. Not at all. Just thank you so much, Tom, for showing such incredible rally series
excellent.
modeling. So,
Of course. Hold on.
Give it
I have
up
to
for
move to my
Tom in the
bed.
chat, guys.
Phone.
Excellent.
Tom, where'd he go?
I'm still here. I have to plug my phone in.
Well, I hope you can hear me, but that was a great presentation as well. And in particular, I love seeing the J50 locomotive. I had not seen that before. So that was new to me. But, just all for both you and George, just talking about the models that you make and all the interaction with the faces, the extra 3D printing, the people that you talk to and communicate with, just all the interaction of everyone and support for each other is just great to see. And the results that you demonstrated tonight are fantastic. So from my point of view, thanks for sharing. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. It means a lot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it wouldn't be done. It wouldn't be able to be done without the help of other people. You never work alone.
It's so neat to see like all this customization and kind of like really creating something and tailoring it to your own liking and making tweaks based off of each season and each I guess modeler likes specific seasons or eras, and it's really neat to see. It's kind of like the Pimp My Ride of trains or West Coast Customs kind of thing. It's kind of like when you see those people creating custom cars and everything. It's custom trains. It's really neat, and it's nice to see that Bachmann has been a great supporter of Thomas and Friends line, and they've been producing so much product for all these modelers to be able to do that too. So it's really nice to see, and Bachmann has meant so much to this industry for Thomas the Tank and Thomas and Friends. and it's great to see Tom and George really take these models to the next level. Sometimes it's just unbelievable to see what you guys could create and do, and even just like weathering them a little just makes such a huge difference, and it's really neat to see. And the painting that you guys do, and trying to the spray paint or enamel or flat, you know, it's just a lot of different techniques, and it takes a lot of time. And I give you guys a lot of credit because I'm sure you spend a lot of money on these models, and then putting some paint on it, it's like, oh, did you mess it up? Not, and you know, working on them, practicing. So it's but all your models look really great. So great job to both of you guys.
Yeah, this
Thank
hobby,
you.
we wouldn't be anywhere without the original Bachmann Thomas stuff. I remember, like, me and George, like, one of the first times we met, we were just hanging out and talking about, like, did you ever see this video when you were a kid? Oh yeah, I remember this one. Just videos of the Bachmann Thomas stuff, and like even back when they first came out, and it was just Thomas, Percy, and James. Like we were just enamored by them. And like I remember I was talking to George one time as a kid, and like I have a couple of the Bachmann Thomas models. I don't really do that much to them, so that's why I didn't really show them off. But I remember like talking to George one time, and I was like, man, when I was a kid, like I couldn't even imagine having like the Bachmann Gordon. I thought like if you had the Bachmann Gordon, like you were a millionaire. And like yeah, and now like me and George have one, and we're just like, this is like, and like the Henry especially is one of my favorites. It's such a good model, and just like owning one, and it's just like it's so like fulfilling to go from like being a kid and like wow, and like now like being able to do it myself.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll keep them coming for you. That's for sure. And it's you know,
that's all I ask.
The basis for inspiration and taking it to the next level that you have shown today. Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we always see a bunch of kids at the show who are like, you know, me and George I'm 22, he's 20, and like we see kids who are like 12, 13, 14 at the show who's like coming up to us and like telling us like oh, I bought this. Like there was our most recent show, like a kid really liked Percy and like kept asking to see Percy on the layout, and then like we walk around the show for a little bit and we see him like brand new Bachmann Percy, and we're like, oh, this is so cute. Like just keep going.
Yeah.
Love that story. That's great.
All right. Well, I think the chat's getting a little impatient now, Doug. I think they're ready to see that.
Don't worry.
It's Ryan time.
Well, if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. But I do feel a little, you know, I only have one locomotive to show. You know, George and Tom have showed many locomotives. I only have one. So I hope
this one is a lot more. Everybody's already seen all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well.
Nobody's seen this one. This one's way better.
Before Doug does the reveal, make sure you put in the chat hashtag Ryan reveal for the raffle with your state, and we'll definitely we'll have Christian pick out a winner for the big announcement or reveal tonight. Hashtag Ryan reveal with Doug, and we'll get Doug on the big screen and get him amped up for that.
All right, sounds good. So as you know, we're ready to reveal Ryan, so here we're going to do a real reveal here.
Wait! Before you do it, time out. Everybody out there, when Doug reveals Ryan, I want you guys to take a screenshot and tag Bachmann Trains and Train World. I'm gonna make Christian retweet all night your post, so Christian will be retweeting, and make sure you tag Bachmann Trains because they do a great job on social media. They have a great communications manager who's been doing a fantastic job, and he's been showing blips and images and dropping some great Thomas the Tank stuff. So make sure you follow them there because he does some great work, and it definitely keeps us on our toes because we got to retweet it and reshare it every time we see it from Bachmann. So
I got one request. Can
What's
we
that?
can we please bring back the hashtag We Love Doug? Hashtag We Love Doug.
Let's stick with the Ryan review.
Well, if you want to do hashtag We Love Doug, we'll make
I'll do that one.
Bachman's communication managers retweet that and share that. I'll send them an email. We'll see what we could do.
Oh man, Matt. First of all, our communications manager is Matt Stern. He does do a great job, and with all these retweets, Christian, I hope you're busy tonight. I hope we don't keep you up too late, though.
You better pay him overtime.
Yeah, Christian's gonna get too expensive.
well, with that viral 200,000 views.
That's right. He's well worth it.
Yeah, he's
sounds good.
pulling his weight.
That's right.
All right, so here's our Great Northern Railway, Ryan, engine number 1014. Here we go. Well, and you think I would know how to do it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There's Ryan.
Wow, he looks great.
That's amazing. The face is perfect.
It is. Can we?
I was
can
really
we see
worried
close
about
up
the
of
face.
face?
Sure.
That's awesome.
Trying to keep him in the light there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's incredible. It's so clean.
So this is the, I think, the most intricate paint job we've ever done on a Thomas locomotive. The white and gold lining is fairly complicated, and I think it came out really crisp and clean.
Yeah,
So
it's flawless.
it's going to be, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but the boiler bands actually have it's a silver band sandwiched by two gold bands. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, it came out really well on the model. And we have on the coal bunker there, let me see if we can get some light on that, but there we go. There's the purple bands with the coal in between. I'll show the coal bunker there. And then let me see if we can do that. Yeah, the windows in the back there have the bars over the windows to protect it from the coal. Of course, there's the rear headlamp. And what else we got here? So wheels are, of course, purple.
Sorry, I said the open cab too. That's
Yeah,
a nice
open
feature.
cab. There we go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's excellent.
So, and I'm sure I don't have to tell the fandom here that Ryan is an unusual character, and that he's the very few characters, or maybe the only character, that's not based on a Reverend Audrey original character, and named after Ryan, who was a super fan. And I have to look. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. Sodor Island fan site. So that's kind of cool. You probably know Ryan Hagan yourselves, right?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Ryan.
We know him.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Or we know of him.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, Doug, one question we keep on getting: estimated delivery date.
I got
Estimated delivery date is just going to be late this year. I don't have an exact time yet.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on a future live stream. But when we get a painted sample, that's always a good sign. Next time you'll see him, hopefully he'll be in a package, and that's when we're getting close.
Excellent.
Wow. Everybody is going nuts right now.
Yeah.
Can we see the handrails real quick on top of the tank?
Sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They're separately applied. They're a little larger, but that's to do with safety standards for Bachmann UK. That would be the same for the lampposts in the front. They're a little oversized, but again, we have to worry about safety standards for UK and US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks excellent though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely
Can we see a close
one
up
of my
of the
favorites.
face? Sorry, can we see a close up of the face?
Sure.
Oh wow.
I don't
Yeah,
want to
it's
get
funny.
out of
We were talking right before you came on. We were debating on whether he was going to have that face or the tooth face. And actually, that's the face I think a lot of fans actually prefer, which is the
Oh,
close
so-
snap now.
What was the other face or the what face?
Well, it's like one where you see his teeth, but this is like his
Oh,
more
right.
like his more like please smile. And like actually, I think that's the more popular one amongst the fans. So
All right.
Yeah, I
Well,
like that face
yeah,
because I have
Yeah.
I have a Ryan and it's got like this face, but I think I prefer the one on yours.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So there, and
Beautiful.
yeah, the handrails there is hard to see, but they're painted in black. We have some step details on the front of the boiler here. Yeah, well, let's see if I can show them. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get the right angle here.
Mm-hmm.
I can think you can see them a little bit there.
Yeah. I can see.
So anyway, that's the deal, and hope everyone's happy
He's-
with the reveal, and we'll of course get them to you as
Oh,
quickly as we can.
That's
Wow.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, thank you so
Love it.
much.
and
So,
remember,
as I
guys, the tail lamp is separately fitted.
Yes,
You just have
it
to
is.
remand them that, Doug.
We love to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can see that's separate part on my forehead there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Can we just get like a close up of the side of the GNR?
Sure.
Sorry,
Oh, that's-
we're torturing you with.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
Doug's arm are killing him.
That's amazing.
No, the GNR has it's got drop shadows. It's got a red and black lining around the gold lettering. A little bit hard to see. Same thing on the 1014. So there is some fine paint details on there. So
Doug, they love you again, Doug.
all
You're getting so many comments now after this reveal.
right, sounds good. Well, if everyone else is happy, I'm happy on behalf of Bachmann. It's our pleasure. So, and we'll have some, I should say as well that we're going to have some new release announcements coming up later next week in advance of the NMRA show
Wow.
in St. Louis. So if you check out our website, BachmannTrains.com. I'm not sure exactly what day we're going to do it, but late next week we'll have announcements just before the opening of the NMRA show.
And-
So
Any,
there will be
hints?
announcements for the fandom. Hints? No,
Wow.
no, can't do that.
Aw.
Can't do that.
Damn.
What I will say is, I think there's going to be some surprises and make some people happy. So
And when's the show, Doug?
the show starts next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Not this week, but next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm sorry, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I said that wrong. We're setting up on Thursday. So, it'll probably go up on Thursday or Friday.
Wow.
Well, Ken, you know
Awesome.
what that means. We're set for September's Thomas Tuesday now with
That-
more stuff to talk about.
We may have to do it instead of once every month. We're gonna have to do it next Tuesday too. we may have to do a surprise show.
Doug's got a packed schedule.
Yeah, Doug's thinking about it.
let me think about that one, Ken.
That's crazy. We may have to do a pop-up Train World Tuesday, but that's amazing. That's really great news. And Doug and Bachmann have been doing a great job, kind of feeding the Thomas fandom and just pumping out all this new Thomas product. So keep them coming, Doug. Keep them coming.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
our pleasure.
That's
everyone
awesome.
loves
Great job. And it looks like everybody is freaking out and so excited about this. I haven't seen any bad comments, so all positive stuff. So that's great. And so keep up the good work, Doug.
We will indeed. And thanks to for the fandom. Thanks for all their support as well.
Yes.
We're happy to be here and show what we. Sorry, that one cracked me up. We're happy to be here and be able to do this for the fandom as well. It's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah.
And if you're satisfied with Ryan tonight, make sure you put your pre-order in, because one thing about Thomas the past couple of years, the pre-orders have been going like crazy, and the product has been going out quicker than they're coming in. So make sure you get your pre-order in. We're taking pre-orders now. It looks tremendous. We're taking pre-orders on Ryan right now. So make sure you order it today if you can. Get those pre-orders in. This was great, Doug. Really excellent.
Pleasure, and I agree with on those pre-orders. And Ken, thanks to you and Train World and Christian for doing this. You always do a great job, and I'm happy when everyone supports Train World as well. So it just is a great community.
That's great. Thank you, Doug, so much. And Christian, excellent job tonight. You picked out George and Tom. Their collections were fantastic.
Thank
Everybody
you.
give it up for George, Tom, and Doug tonight. We really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christian, any last words?
No, I'm just as always honored to be part of this, help coordinate these events, and to see just constantly every month new updates from Bachmann, and then just every month constantly being inspired to constantly improve my Thomas modeling too, from seeing models by George, Tom, and everyone else we've had so far and will have in the future. So thank you, and of course thank you so much to our audience, everyone in the chat, hyping things up for Ryan and George and Tom. It's just always a pleasure, and I look forward to the next one as always.
That's great. George, Tom, Doug, any last minute words?
Yeah, if you're in the tri-state area, in Philly, Jersey, Delaware, New York too, make sure to come if you can. Check out our train show that we're doing this weekend in Edison, New Jersey. It's the Greenberg Toy and Train Show. We'll have a display there. You got the pin. Our group, Thomas and fans, will be presenting. We'll have a table for the community. We'll have 2 layouts there with all different kinds of scales. All of our different presentations. We have a video here to show you actually, real quick. But yeah, you can find more information about it on our Twitter. We're on we have Instagram too. We are on Facebook as well, on all the socials. Just trying to keep everyone updated. I know this time took us a minute. We had some complications with Greenberg, but we're glad we settled it all. Yeah, we really hope to see everyone there. Like I just said, August 6th and 7th. You come out and see me and George and all of our friends. George making silly faces on camera. Our good friend Matt, Lego Master 365, made this video for us. All the information is available right there. It's $10 to get in, and it's a blast. You can buy all the kinds of products there, and there's so many incredible displays there. It's such a good time. But yeah, it's a great time of year too, right at the end of the summer. Last little trip before school starts again.
Yeah.
I
think really the best thing I've seen and heard just from people is with the shows is just meeting new people and getting out there. It's definitely something that, if you're into the hobby but you're kind of shy, Tom and I are both very shy, and we just we're at I don't know, we love to talk to people and stuff at these sort of shows. Everybody is there for the same thing really, and it's just really cool. I don't know. So like Tom said, if you can make it, if you're in the area, absolutely come out. We'd love to have you.
I'm going to jump in on that as well. If Bachmann will be displaying at the National Model Railroad Association. It's actually called the National Train Show, not this weekend, but next weekend in St. Louis. If you're in the area, please stop by. We'll be glad to meet you and talk with you. And it's just a great event. And it's a pleasure to meet all our fellow railroaders. So there's some good options coming up for meet and greet. And I hope you take advantage of either meeting George and Tom or Bachmann and the rest of the train displays at both shows.
All right, Ken.
We'll do
All
a
right,
little
Ken.
road trip.
Plane tickets.
That's it. Me and Christian are gonna fly down, and we're gonna do a pop-up stream with Doug.
Yeah, do a road trip.
There you go.
Start in New Jersey, drive to St. Louis.
All right,
You can
guys.
do both.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a week.
Sounds
Surely you
good.
can get from Jersey to St. Louis in a week.
Yeah. But thank you, everyone, so much. We really appreciate it. Doug, George, Tom, you guys have been excellent. Christian, thank you so much for putting all these shows together. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do these shows without you. Thank God you take payment in trains. but seriously, great job, everyone. Really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, first Tuesday of every month for Thomas Tuesday. And thank you. Order your Bachmann trains at trainworld.com. Take care, guys.
So take care.